Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Police Off the Cuff After Hours. My name is Mark DeMeo. I'm your host. I'm here tonight with my co-host, Angel Masonette. What's up, Angel?
How you doing, brother?
Uh, this past weekend has been very, very tough. We were on the fence. I wasn't going to do a show tonight. I said I just didn't feel right about it, and I spoke to Angel because here's the thing. Um, we had a police officer killed here in New York City. They were ambushed, and in case you don't know, it really has affected New York, and it's actually gone around the country right now as our president was confronted during his presser today and asked about the uptick in crime and this story because the police officer killed Jason Rivera was 22 years old. It really it's really hopefully, like I said, this might save life. This is the maybe the straw that broke the camel's back as far as all this bail reform and defunding the police nonsense. But
It's
go ahead.
it's resonating with a lot of people because he's son of Dominican immigrants, 22 years old, grew up in Inwood, which is by Washington Heights, 4 miles from where he was killed. Um, he was active on social media as far as advocating for kids to stay in school. I posted a couple of videos on my Instagram and on my Twitter that went viral. They've been on the news of him. One guy was filming him in front of an apartment building, and he's smiling. I mean, look at his PDID picture. He's smiling in his ID
Hmm.
picture. None of us smiled. We always tried to look like tough guys, you know. The kid was just the epitome. He's what you want. There he is, right, smiling. Who smiles in their ID picture? He's the epitome. He's what you want as a police officer in New York. Someone who grew up in the city, someone who wants to affect change, not just talk about it. He was trying to be the change, and hopefully, his death won't be in vain, and it'll be a catalyst for some change, and people realize that we are human. I mean, because this kid was. He was the son of New York. You know, I didn't know him, and I don't know Mora, but they are me, and I am them. And same goes for you, Mark.
That's who we text each other today. I didn't
Yeah.
know the young man or his partner, but as a half breed, I'm Dominican. My father was Dominican. My family still lives in Washington Heights. I spent half my youth in Washington Heights as well. I still spend I go up there at least 2 or 3 times a week to visit my grandmother, and I just know this young man. I know who he is. I
My
see his
daughter lives
laugh.
there. My
It
daughter
breaks.
lives in the Heights. Yeah.
It's
No,
just 22 years old is shocking.
it's
So
a baby.
rather than cancel the show, what we wanted to do was we wanted to share the fundraiser with you. Um, there's a group. It's called Fund the First. Robert Garland is the CEO of that, and he's been on the show before talking about it. So we want to share that with you, and then we also want to ask you for continued prayers for Wilbert Mora, police officer Wilbert Mora, who's not doing very well right now. I just read an article um, that he is been moved to another hospital, NYU Langone, earlier this evening. So the reason why we decided to come on was because we have so many fans that have been kind enough from all over the country and from other countries. They might not understand the magnitude of what we're going through here in New York. This is really really bad. Okay, and everybody's on edge here, from retired police officers to the police department to anybody, all the politicians and stuff. This has really affected us. So that's why we came on here, because we wanted the prayers. We wanted to ask you to pray for Wilbert Mora. We want to ask you if you have anything that can help to for the donation for Jason Rivera. But in the meantime, I wanted to, in case you're not fully aware of what happened, maybe I could share this with you. It pretty much tells the whole story from the beginning, and then we'll share some other stuff with you, and then we'll call it a night.
Was a rookie, sworn in November 2020. And while at the police academy, he had written about wanting to improve relations between cops and communities. Our team coverage continues this evening with Eyewitness News reporter Shantae Lands. She is also in Harlem. Shantae?
Sandra, I met with the family of that slain police officer. They were understandably upset. His brother, his older brother, wanted me to tell you and everyone else in the community that he loved what he did and that he dreamt of being a police officer. Police hang black bunting over the entrance of the 32nd precinct, a solemn reminder that the NYPD just lost one of their own. Last night, a procession held outside of Harlem Hospital carried the remains of Officer Jason Rivera. The 22-year-old was killed yesterday evening when he and his partner were shot ambush style after responding to a domestic call inside a first-floor apartment on West 135th Street.
22, wow, that's not even living life, but, he put it all on the line, because he cared about his community.
Johnny Evans, like many in the neighborhood who knew Officer Rivera, stopped by the precinct to pay their respect.
I could tell, like, he really cared, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know he was a rookie, you know what I'm saying? And you could just, from knowing that, you could tell he came with new blood. He came with, just wanting to help the community.
Officer Jason Rivera leaves behind a wife. He was Dominican and grew up in Inwood. He graduated from Wills High School in Washington Heights. His older brother tells Eyewitness News that he dreamt of being a police officer. In a letter to his commanding officer in the police academy, Officer Rivera wrote, quote, "When I applied to become a police officer, I knew this was the career for me. Coming from an immigrant family, I will be the first to say that I am a member of the NYPD, the greatest police force in the world." Officer Rivera joined the force in November of 2020. Members of the National Action Network gathered outside of the crime scene to pray for Officer Rivera and his partner, 27-year-old Officer Wibert Mora, who was shot in his head and is now at Harlem Hospital clinging to life.
We're praying for these families. We know that there are tragedies that are happening on police every day, and we want to stand up for that. We know that that is wrong.
Now, Officer Rivera's older brother was too emotional to speak on camera with me, but he wanted me to leave you with this about his brother. He loved what he did, and he was the hardest working person. I want people to know how much he loved what he did and how much he devoted to his career. And he died doing what he loved, and I am extremely proud of him. Now, Cardinal Timothy Dolan met with both families of both police officers. There will be a candlelight vigil here soon at 6:30. The mayor is expected to attend. And if you want to read that full letter by Officer Rivera that he sent and when he was in the police academy, you can find that on our website. It's abc7ny.com.
Yeah, right, man? Hey, this is exactly what you want in a police officer. Everything that you would ask, a neighborhood would ask. We want somebody that looks like us, that thinks like us, that wants to protect us. That's exactly what you're looking for in a police officer. And the shooter in this case, he passed away today. He didn't care who was on the other side of that door. He just ripped that door open and he started shooting. And these are two young gentlemen. Wibert Mora is 27 years old, and we just heard that Jason Rivera was 22 years old. It's just so young. It's so young. And
it hurts me because my son is, my stepson is on the job now, and he's 28, Mora's age, basically. And, you fear for your kids, right? When it was us out there, we knew how to handle ourselves. We knew what we were facing. But, when it's your kid, it's a whole different ball game. It's just tough, man. It just hurts.
Coming from like I said, I'm Dominican. I'm half Dominican. My father was Dominican, and I just know there was probably some divide in the family as far as if he should take the job. There wasn't mine,
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're devastated right now. His wife is devastated. This was something that she posted. If you can't read it, it says, "Yesterday I visited the locker room where you used to FaceTime me during your mealtime. or right before you had to go downstairs to the muster room for roll call at 1500 hours. That's what his they brought his grieving widow so she can see where he worked. Last night was supposed to be your day 5, and you were RDO, which means regular day off, for the next 3 days, she said. We both waited for your RDOs to spend time together. But now your soul will spend the rest of my days without me, throughout me, right beside me. The widow wrote, I will love you to the end of time.
It's you know, we can't let his death be in vain. Hopefully, it'll be a catalyst for change in the city. I mean,
Or the country.
it's
The
yeah,
country.
it's
It's been,
humanizing the badge.
I was reading an article, and it was talking about the presser that they had in the White House. And the reporter asked the president about the crime uptick throughout the country and the shooting. And he's adamant that he's always been pro cops and pro funding the police. In the article, though, they used Jason's picture. So it's resonating. It's resonating throughout. This is something that um, has affected everyone. Just because, like you said, look at the smile. Now, Fund the First is a group that puts together. It's like GoFundMe, but
Hmm.
it's a GoFundMe for people that are first responders. Okay, and if you wanted to donate, that's what it looks like. Fundthefirst.com, and as you can see, a lot of people had went into their pockets to help the family out, and that's what it looks like right there. Fund the First. So if you want to donate, um, just Google that. Fund the First. It's
Anything,
yeah.
$5, $10, anything. Everything goes to the families. Uh, Rob Garland doesn't get anything. It goes to the families. So anything you can donate.
What does this say? From our team, Fund the First, rest in peace, NYPD police officer Jason Rivera. You will forever be in our prayers, and we are blessed to be able to provide additional support to your family through our line of duty give back program.
So the original, when it was created on January 22nd, if I can read, Mark, um, last night we tragically lost one of our own in the NYPD, police officer Jason Rivera. As we mourn his death, we want to come together to show his family all the support they deserve during this trying time. The author writes, I personally worked with Jason in the 3-2 precinct, and all I can say is that he was an absolutely wonderful person. And as a new officer on the job, he was always smiling and excited to go out, no matter what his call of duty was. His cheer will be missed and will forever be in my prayers. This fundraiser is to collect funds for his family to assist with their support system. A donation of any amount goes a long way. Please consider donating and sharing this fundraiser. 3-2 for life. It's a brotherhood, man.
Yeah. Once again, Wilbert Mora, police officer Wilbert Mora, is fighting for his life right now as we speak. The reason we did the show tonight that we went on is because we're asking for prayers for Wilbert Mora. I believe it. I believe that we can that prayers do help. And I think collectively, if you're watching this right now, if you could say a prayer for him and his family, and also the family of Jason Rivera, that would go a long way, I think. And that's all we got, really. I mean, what else can we do?
I'd like to add. I don't want to name him. The PBA named him. The police officer that was with them in the apartment who ended up neutralizing the threat. He's having a tough time. He's
yeah, I read about that today. He keeps rethinking it, and he's going over there. He's probably going to be
he's got survivor's guilt, right? We've all September 11th hit me like that, right? I had a lot of survivor's guilt when that happened. Why wasn't I in the building? why did God spare me? So he's going through it tenfold now. So let's say a prayer for him. He's a hero, but it's a heavy burden to carry.
Apparently, both of them walked down the corridor of that apartment. All three officers responded. They spoke with the now deceased gunman, with the mother, with a brother there, and then they walked down the hallway where he whipped open the door and just started shooting. Didn't bother to look at it, what he was shooting at. And the third officer that was there, he responded, and he shot the perp several times. And like you said, that animal just died today from his wounds. And that's for all the people that tuned in tonight, I appreciate that. It's just Angel and I both agreed that this wasn't the time to, our show. Even though we cover a lot of topics, we joke around a lot, and neither one of us were in the joking mood. But we wanted to get this information out there. We think it's important, and for those of you who support the show, obviously you're either law enforcement or you're a fan of law enforcement, and we appreciate that. And this is why law enforcement needs support. We need to get back to at least the center, because we've gone so far left right now with all these ideologies. They're not helping us at all. They're destroying families. They're destroying neighborhoods. Nobody really understands what the purpose of it was to begin with. But that being said, Angel, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
If you want to see videos of Jason, I have them on my social media. I'm not here trying to plug myself. I'm just sharing with the group because I know you guys would love to see it if you haven't already. Big Rican Man is my handle on Twitter and on Instagram. You can go on there. There's a couple of videos of him. One was when he had just finished high school, and he's advocating for kids to stay in school, talking about how he struggled, and it's really good. And then the other one is just a 9-second clip that somebody posted as they were walking by him. Somebody from the neighborhood who knew him, and the guy says in the video, you're always smiling, man, always smiling. And you see him, he smiles and looks down like in a bashful way. It just speaks to his character. It's heartbreaking to watch, but I think you should watch it. So once again, Big Rican Man, BIGRICANMAN, on Twitter and on Instagram. Check it out. The videos are there. So that's all I got.
All right. And I just wanted to say to the people that tuned in tonight, sorry, we're not doing like a regular show. We'll be back Thursday. We'll probably cover this some more on Thursday. Please keep your prayers for Wibert Mora going. And let's hope to God that he can pull out of this. And in the meantime, we wish you all well. And wherever you live, let's just hope that the tide is turned now. Let's just hope that Officer Jason Rivera, his life is not in vain. If this is the straw that broke the camel's back, then his life, even though it was taken, has saved many, many lives. And on that note, I want to wish you all a good night. And let's hope for a better day tomorrow. And we'll see you Thursday.
Peace. Bendiciones.
Bye, everyone.